first thing I want to get into, you're an accomplished author, Ordinary Love, Colored Girls, but you got the web series coming out, Jackie Knows Best. And the first thing I thought, it's appropriately titled. Getting into your background a little bit, I'm just impressed with your message. I'm impressed with, the positivity. Obviously, I knew who you were, but didn't really know as much about you as I do now.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about Jackie Christie Knows Best. The web series is coming out. What's going on with that?
My web series is all about, I wanted to answer questions. I got a huge fan base from when my husband played basketball, and I do fashion and books, and as you know, I have my fingers in a lot of different things, and so I have a lot of ladies and guys, for that matter, calling me or emailing me and asking me different questions. So I figured instead of doing like a Dear Abby column, I would do a web series that answered a lot of those questions. I'll bring on, interesting people, celebrity authors, celebrity guests, just very important, just regular people, and we'll share things. I'll give tips. It's a lot of different stuff. We filmed about 4 episodes already, but just between me and you, I just got offered a pretty big TV show, and it might conflict, so I have to push it back a little bit. I'm like, but it'll still be out this year. It'll just be later.
Well, that's perfect. See, we got the exclusive for you. The U always brings you the exclusive. Now, you work, one thing I'm also impressed with, you worked very hard when you guys were in the NBA to integrate the family into the NBA and all that type of thing, and just really get a more family-oriented place. So it leads me to this question. When you're married to an NBA player, like you're really married to an NBA player for, a long amount of period of time, when you see these women or chicks, or they kind of portray being married to an NBA player, but they're not really married, they might have a baby, or I don't really know, I'm really confused sometimes. Can you kind of speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I actually, that's surprising to me as well. Being a wife of an NBA player and being around the NBA for over 16 years, it's a sisterhood, and it's kind of like a clique, sort of. And it's a good clique. All the wives kind of look out for each other. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And when the girlfriends or the fiancés come, sometimes they can feel a little bit uncomfortable and out of place. And it's sort of like a territorial type of thing. But I always tried to make sure I, included everybody and treated everybody the same, because I felt like, if you really care about that player or that man, because I love Doug for who he is and not for anything else. Not for what he can do for me, because I do for myself and I do for him. So yeah, I always try to encourage the wives and girlfriends to, really be about, this man. You're going to hear some things, and, people are going to say bad things about you. There's some envy, there's some jealousy, there's a lot of confusion going on, to what your role is in this life. But if you're doing it right and your heart is pure, it'll show through. So, yeah, I see it, and I'm shocked too a lot of the time.
Right. Well, let me ask this, though. How do you feel about the kind of, like, I hate to use the word, but groupie chicks that are just kind of hanging around and causing problems? I mean, from my perspective.
It's funny because I've been asked that question, and I always hated using the word group, because I felt like, oh my God, it's so green, but at the same time, no, it's okay. The women that prey upon athletes has always been an issue with me, because I felt like, for one, I really care and love people, and I think everybody should be respected. And when people are, looking at these guys and they're like, oh, what can I get for them? That bothers me, rubs me the wrong way, and that's why I had to set a lot of people straight. It's like, that's not right, and you wouldn't want anyone doing that to you, and I believe in, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. But a lot of times, when I travel with Doug quite a bit, and it was highly publicized, and a lot of people said, well, what's the groupie like when you get to the hotel, when the bus arrives, and they're standing out there in the lobby with, T-shirt, see-through T-shirt, and blah, blah. And I had to tell people, once in a while you run into that, but it was more in, like, the cities like Miami and, the hotter cities where, it's got the reputation for that. But mainly it was the women at the actual organizations. It was the girls that went to school or that, somehow looked up and got a job for the organization. Those were the ones that was really a problem. And the reason is because their job entitled them to, go and pick the players up, take them to their appearances, really, have that one-on-one contact with them. So, yeah, that was a problem for us only because Doug said, I'm a grown-up, I can drive myself, or my wife can come with me, she's my assistant, my partner in life, so she does everything for me, and they didn't like it.
That's one thing I noticed with Doug. I mean, I can't take all the blame off of men in relationships, because Doug seems to step up and seems to, set those boundaries with these chicks, from what I can tell.